Now, obviously, Kiryache has an absolute notoriety for being one of the best WKs in the world. So we're going to watch how him and his trio work. Now, Slurpee is a little bit scuffed in the replay system because of the changes that's happened to it. Kiryache and Stormy Right win off spawn. They get Toos up. But the thing I want to note here, look at the way that their kills are distributed. Toos, all of his kills probably from around 13, 14 minutes and on. Kiryache, basically the same, and then Stormy Right, basically the same as well. So seeing this makes me go, there is something that these guys are doing in the way that they're fighting through 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th zones that is different to everyone else, because they're getting this amount of kills. Even though we've seen it from other players, we haven't seen it in this way. We haven't seen it this many. So we're going to watch that, see if there's any different points. Let me know down in the comments if you see anything. They're trying to find kills here. There's just no one who's landed Weeping. There's no one else who's landed Slurpee apart from the 3 people who contested them. So from here, they're essentially just trying to get to mid-map, where most people are going to try and converge, and from there, look to find more kills. Now, Still's just hooking it straight through the middle of the map, and this is their issue. Look at that. There is no one around them whatsoever. A majority of the 70 players that are still up here are towards edge POIs, and that's something that I haven't really seen before. A lot of the time, you do see people, I call it the triangle of death, essentially through mid-map, Boney, and then Risky. You do tend to find quite a lot of people. But in this circumstance, we've got 3 trios here. We've got 2 trios here. Bunch of trios south side towards the Southern Alps. And then a lot also up this way as well. That's just an unusual circumstance. And honestly, probably quite unlucky. This could have been, this could have been another one of those big games, about a 50 bomb or more. Can't even find anyone in Sweaty. That's when you know things are going weird. Now, this is a great time where we can actually look at this from drone free. We've done this a few times now, but looking at it from drone free here, we'll be able to see straight away Kiryache's first instinct is to get on the far side of these guys. Now, by getting on the far side of them, seems obvious, but by doing that, we've now got an angle from Toos coming in from here. Stormy Right comes from in here, and now Kiryache looks to get his damage from here. And straight away, with the AR pressure and the SMG pressure, these guys are taking damage that these guys can't even think about taking. Now, this guy actually doing the right thing. I think looking to clear vertical space is important, and that's why it's also important when you're looking at W key to try and take roofs and flats and also control more space around the fight if you can. That's what Fireflies are great for, because you can't edit through buildings that are on fire. But this guy's cranked to the top has actually got the right theory about things. Looking to clear some space between him and the others. Unfortunately, Kiryache just is a little bit better. And now, unfortunately, Toos and Stormy Right are playing angles on these two. They can't choose who they want to fight. And Kiryache is going to win his ones, as he usually does. While Stormy Right and Toos work beautiful angles on this guy's teammates. And Kiryache finishes off the other guy. It's a really well-worked fight. Now, what I do want to see is, of course, there's the stereotype of the Russian psycho, right? The guy who's really willing to get in and play hardcore 50-50. But what I want to see is if there's a little bit of strategy to their 50-50. So they get in and finish that. But you see here, Toos is in the same box as him. So even if they go down and they have to trade that, it doesn't matter. Toos has got his back. And it's a 1v2. So straight away, you can see Stormy Right's first thought is, let me get a different angle to what my teammates are getting. So straight away looks to get around from the side, while Toos comes in from the front, and Kiryache also comes in from the front. He's a little behind because he was the one who was caught up in that fight before. But if you're looking to improve in fights, those instincts are the things you need to learn. You need to learn to implement that and make that a habit. Now, exactly what I was saying before, making sure his teammates are there to help him trade out is good, and that's where Kiryache's ego and his thing about being a Russian psycho on 50-50ing, that's where that can be a negative. So learning when to curb that Russian psycho-ness. The good thing is that his teammate was there to trade out with him, so he's fine. Here we go, immediately looking to jump on, and you just see the way that they set up. Again, I've said this about 3 or 4 times in the last time I've done reviews on fights. It's not necessarily about how you fight in the fight, it's about how you set up for it. It's not about what you do in the middle. Of course, it's important that you hit hard. It's important that your mechanics are good. If Kiryache has terrible aim, all he has to do is set up one box further this way and spray in. Toos can do the same, and Stormy Right can do the same. They'll probably get some third-party fire there to help out with them. But by setting themselves up like this, they set themselves up for success no matter what. Because straight away, they're guaranteed to have multiple angles on the fight. And as soon as you do that, you get this crack damage that I keep on talking about. This allows them to initiate harder. If they get this kind of damage off, It means that when they want to get into it, they really can push the fight fast, and they can get in and do that 50-50 style that I'm talking about that the Russians probably love. So Kiryache playing from the other side, as you can see here, basically makes it impossible for User to do anything at all. Baits out a nice shot there, and another super fast mix makes it basically impossible for this team to do anything. And again, you have to say at some point, these guys, of course, the reason these guys drop 42 kills is because they have the mechanics to do this stuff. But it's also the way that they look to play as a team, which makes a huge difference to the way that they are consistent in getting these kills as a team. This is a thing that Kiryache needs to get out of his game. That big 50-50, it's not even that, it's this shot here. That guy misses his shot by way too far, leaving Kiryache on 5 health. And again, it might not make a difference. He might not go down, but it's a very congested zone. They're in half-half. It wouldn't surprise me if they weren't able to get Kiryache up in that scenario and they got lobby focused down or something like that. So because they're in crap lobbies, they do get away with mistakes every now and then. Or they do get away with the 50-50 playstyle every now and then. So it's just whether or not they can curb that back when they're in the more stacked sort of lobbies. So now they're finding it a little bit harder to W key, and this is what you'd expect. They're going to find it hard to W key in this scenario because there's 30 players alive in a half-half. That's far too many people to just start W keying everybody you see, because as soon as you do that, you just attract attention, you attract 3rd, 4th, 5th parties, the lobby focus. That's exactly what you want to avoid at this stage, because you've been playing for 20 minutes and you queued for 2 minutes before that. That's 22 minutes. It's not necessarily wasted, but instead of a 60-point game, you're going to have a 30-point game. One of the things I'm going to be interested to see is if they like to play low or high ground in these games where they're W keying. Because obviously high ground, you don't really have the opportunity to box fight people unless you're coming directly from the top. But playing through mid ground, you actually have a little bit of freedom with your W keying. As you can see here with Kiryache looking to get it on this guy. Now they definitely are playing from height, but Kiryache is essentially just being let loose as a full bulldog. Just jumping on people and essentially 50-50 aim fighting them. And at this stage, I can understand wanting to do that. As we hop over to Toos, who's essentially doing the same thing, right? Playing as a full attack dog, just jumping down, and it comes down. I've said this so many times, if you find that you're not playing to your full potential, the one thing that you should always work on, the one thing that you should always have, is really, really good aim. If you can fall back on anything in this game, it is really good aim. With really good aim, you're able to take people out of the air like this, you're able to 50-50 more, you're able to win more 50-50 scenarios, you become a much more deadly player in basically every scenario. This is an aim-based game with really high-tier mechanical abilities as well. If you're able to hit as hard as these Russians are able to hit, the game becomes 15 times easier because your mechanics don't really have to be that crazy to be able to be just as dangerous in a fight as someone who has crazy mechanics. And now this is essentially all three of them just being 50-50 psychos, but again, it comes down to the fact that they've got crazy good aim because they've put the work in, they've put the time in, and as a result, they make the rest of this lobby look like a bunch of floppers. The craziest thing about that is that there was essentially a 10-minute stretch where they got 0 kills, and they ended up with 42.